Good evening, everyone. Uh, Welcome to this wonderful webinar. Hello. Uh, Welcome to this wonderful webinar on SME IPO, the road ahead. So our speakers are Mr. Nilesh Desai and Mr. Abhishek Gaur. I'll start with the introduction of Mr. Nilesh Desai and Mr. Abhishek Gaur. Nilesh Desai is founder and chief consultant of SME Analytics. He is an MSME expert and is the author of the book The Unexplored Goldmine, The Opportunities in the Revival of the Sick MSMEs. He is fond of writing daily newsletters to spread awareness about the MSME world. Mr. Desai has a vast experience of about 41 years in the engineering industry. During his career, Mr. Desai has revived or rehabilitated 50 MSME units with his widespread knowledge in MSMEs. These units are presently functioning strongly. He is a member in various committees and represents the interest of MSME in RBI. He has traveled extensively and has business associations in Australia. Coming to Mr. Abhishek God. Mr. Abhishek God is associated with the National Stock Exchange of India Limited for the last 6 years. He operates from Hyderabad and is handling business development portfolio for the states of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. An MBA Finance from ICFI University and BCom from Osmania University. Having worked in the financial market space for 15 years, Abhishek has rich experience in various verticals of capital market, that is business development, index and stock derivatives, forex and interest rate risk management, fixed income market, mutual funds, trading technology, and listing of small and medium enterprises. He is well recognized among the stock broking community, other financial market intermediaries, and business associations in the region. He has been engaged. He has been engaging with corporates to guide them on managing the forex risk and help them to raise funds through alternate mode of financing, that is, fundraising and listing on the NSE SME platform through IPO. As a part of his association with the exchange, he had represented as speaker at various forums, seminars for corporates, business associations, and financial market awareness sessions for investor groups and students at various educational institutions across both the states. Uh, Mr. Abhishek sir, could you just share your screen so that you can start off with your uh, presentation?
Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Hello? We all set to go?
Yes, please go ahead.
Warm welcome to all of you for today's session, which will be basically focusing on creating awareness or probably making you aware about how SMEs or small and medium companies in India can access the capital markets and raise funds. In India, generally people, when we talk about coming up with an IPO or raising funds through capital markets, generally business entrepreneurs think that it is a ball game for a kind of investors or for a kind of an entrepreneur who is having a very big business or a kind of a large scale company. But now this facility or this avenue is available to them, and it actually is helping them as an alternate to the debt financing, which is a general source of financing or financing the growth or funding opportunity for SMEs. Now, SMEs can also come up to the capital markets, open up the IPO and get listed. So this is how SMEs can access this platform through the stock exchanges. It all started in brainstorming sessions on 2000 after the 2009 subprime crisis, which happened in US, and then subsequently the fallback effect on the entire globe. Everybody started off thinking that they need to have an alternate mechanism which would be independent of the banking system and also help the SMEs to grow. Now, why only SMEs to grow? The focus was because in India, the SMEs form a very strong part of the entire ecosystem, where it provides a lot of opportunities in terms of employment. Also, it contributes to a decent amount of exports in the country. So your internal consumption and for a country to grow, having a better balance of payments, exports are required. So all these things, if we look at it in a holistic picture, the entire SME ecosystem needs to be strong in a country. And that was the thought process, how it was tossed. And then there were a few committees who came up with the report. And finally, in 2012, the regulations were drafted and SEBI came up with this concept of allowing SME enterprises to list on the stock exchanges and raise funds. Now, how does that happen, and what are the basic regulations, how it has been, how the journey has been for the SMEs across the country is what all will run you through from the presentation. So this platform is for growing SMEs. So growing SMEs in the sense, these are for those type of entities who have crossed that startup stage and are now at a juncture, which is basically a takeoff stage for a business enterprise. So that is the avenue where this particular platform would be eligible or helpful for them to take their business to the next level. It started in 2012, as I told you. The entire ecosystem or the entire platform is governed under the aegis of SEBI, that is the Securities and Exchange Board of India. This is a separate segment within NSE compared to main board entities which are getting listed through a normal IPO. Okay. The trading screens where the companies get listed and are visible for the secondary market operations are the same. So on the same trading screen where we find all the big companies which are listed, the SME companies are also made available on the same screen so that the investor reach is expanded and the SMEs get an advantage of a greater visibility. The same trading members of the stock exchange and the similar kind of merchant bankers who basically do the IPO activity, those are similarly certified and they obtain a similar kind of licenses for SME and main board entities also. Quickly run you through how the number has, how the journey has been. It says that till today, we have crossed around 230 odd companies which are listed on NSE on the SME platform. This is only for the platform called NSE Emerge, because we have branded it as Emerge, mentioning or probably indicating that it would be available for the emerging companies. So on NSE Emerge, we have more than 230 companies which are currently available. The market capitalization of all these companies is more than 25,000 crore rupees. The total amount which is raised through the IPO route on the SME Emerge platform is to the tune of more than around 3,450 odd crores. Yes, if we look at what have been the average issue size, it would be somewhere around 50 crore rupees. Okay. And the lowest size of issue has been somewhere around 4 crore rupees and the highest has been around more than 85 crore rupees. So all type of SMEs, depending upon their valuations and their business model, they can access this platform. In total, the companies listed on the platform represent from around 20 diversified sectors, out of which around 82 companies out of the 229 companies have also migrated to the main board. That shows that they have grown and they have proved their mettle in the listed environment and has subsequently migrated to the main board where all normal companies are getting listed and are traded. Now, when a company gets listed, it basically is in the growing phase, as I mentioned. So the company starts up with promoters capital, which is in the startup stage. It establishes itself, and then subsequently when it moves to the second round of growth, it is basically funded through seed capital, long-term debt financing, angel funds, or venture capitalists. So these two levels are where the company is into make or break situation. If it sustains this level, the business is established, and the promoter now looks at expanding the business so that they can have greater economies of scale. Now, if that situation comes in, then is what the SME platform is currently available for the participants or the entrepreneurs to access, which is the growing phase. In this growing phase, generally, till a very long time, private equity was a very, a fond of kind of a mechanism for funding. But now NSE emerge is also one of the key aspects where entrepreneurs are looking forward towards it and raising funds for their growth. Then basically is the large companies, which are the main board companies, and they get listed over there. So this is the journey. This is how the placement or visibility of a SME platform comes into picture. Now coming to quickly running you through the regulations. As per SEBI, it says that any company whose paid up capital is less than 25 crores. Here, paid up capital is basically the face value of the share. The face value of the share, if it is less than 25 crores, those type of all companies are eligible. To add to that and filter out a few very nascent level companies, NSE has added a few more hygiene checks, which mentions that the company needs to have an operational history for 3 years, that is 3-year financials should be provided. Out of these 3 years, 2 years, the company should make profit, so that it should be a profit-making company. Subsequently, the net worth of the company should be positive, and the entrepreneur or the promoter should not be referred to a DIFR or should not be declared as not fit and proper in any kind of an activity in his business. So these are a few things which we basically check for understanding whether the SME enterprise is eligible to be listed on the SME platform or not. Now coming to the IPO framework, how it happens. Here, it requires minimum 50 number of applications or 50 allottees. If that is there, it happens and the IPO happens and the company gets listed. Whereas when you compare to the main board, there are 1,000 minimum applications required on the main board, whereas minimum applications and allotment of 50 applications is more than enough to complete the SME IPO. Dilution is similar to the main board, which is to the mark of 25%. The draft red herring prospectus is to be filed in the same format the way it is done in the main board. So basically that would include all the material facts of the company right from the day of inception to the day when it is filing for prospectus. So that gives a holistic picture to the investors what the company has been, how it has grown, and how it has diversified, what is the competency of the promoter, and so on and so forth regarding the company. No IPO grading is required, so the cost of the company for coming up with an IPO also reduces because they need not invest in getting its company graded and all. The IPO over here on the SME platform is 100% underwritten. That gives a lot of strength to the promoter when they are opening up the public issue. Market making is available for 3 years, which is again a SEBI stipulated or SEBI regulated point, which mentions that in order to provide liquidity to the company which are listed on the SME platform, they have mandated 3 years market making for the SME enterprises on the Emerge platform. Now, post-listing compliances, they are also a bit relaxed compared to a main board, where in a main board, companies need to provide it on a quarterly basis. On the SME platform, the unaudited results have to be provided half yearly. And the corporate governance, yes, which basically is the discipline in which how the company works internally, that has to be adhered to in the similar manner the way it is done on the main board. So there is no compromise on that. Then I'll come to the investors. A minimum application for an investor to apply on the SME IPOs is 1 lakh. Similarly, the trading lot after it gets listed is also 1 lakh and above. All nominated investors, which is the PE fund or QIBs, can also help the company to underwrite the public issue and do a market making. So this is how the regulations, this is what the regulations say. Apart from that, one of the beautiful aspect of this SME IPO and the regulations is it provides the companies to migrate to the main board after it completes 2 years of existence on the SME platform. Now, what that gives, this particular process gives a lot of catch to the investors or to the promoters, stating that once they show their performance, they show their visibility, they show their business growth in the listed environment for 2 years, and they satisfy the paid up capital norms of more than 10 crores, after 2 years of existence on the SME platform, they can consider themselves to be migrated to the main board. Now, when to take that call is again the promoter's prerogative. We will not be having any say into it. But in this virtue itself is what we were talking in the previous slides, that around 82 companies till today have migrated to the main board out of the 230 odd companies which have got listed on NSE SME platform. How does the company gets into it? What are the steps? These are only a 7-step process. If we look at starting with the interaction and ideation stage of SME IPO, where interaction with the intermediaries, consultants, or the NSE team is there for the entrepreneurs. Then they appoint the intermediaries. The intermediaries does their due diligence and prepare a DRHP, that is offer document. The offer document is filed to the exchange for its observation. NSE does its due diligence and gives an in-principle approval to the company to get listed. After the letter of in-principle approval is granted, the company has 365 days in its hand for opening the public issue. Then they can do their own marketing activities and all. And the moment they find that it is conducive environment for them, they open up the public issue and get listed on the stock exchange. This is how the SME listing platform is. The regulations are mentioned over there. And in total, if we look at this process, if the company is maintaining its books in a decent manner, the processes of the company are well maintained, then there has been a lowest chance of around 90 days for a company to get listed. And if the company is interested to work towards it, then the merchant bankers and the intermediaries help them in a great way doing it. These are a few points. Quickly, I'll run you through the benefits which would be accessible to the issuers. One is efficient raising of capital. So because it's a capital markets, it opens another door for the entrepreneurs to raise efficient capital. A greater visibility is available because SMEs are mostly known to be mostly aware, or probably are mostly known in the geography, smaller geography which they are currently working. But now when they get listed, they get a national platform, and subsequently they also get visible in the investors' purview. Similarly, as a company is listed, it provides its disclosures properly, and it provides its financials timely. The credibility of the company, if it is growth oriented, also increases, and that also adds to the credibility of the company. Appropriate valuations are there because on the capital markets, it's a price discovery mechanism. So market discovers a price, and then appropriate valuations are available, which is not there when the company is unlisted, because it's only the book value or the net worth which is considered there. Corporate governance, yes, they met a lot of strength on the company. Migration to the main board is there. Then comes liquidity to the shares. As there are only a few promoters in an unlisted entity, the liquidity of the share is very less. But when it gets listed, the liquidity enhances. Better borrowing terms are accessible to the company. Shares act as a collateral. Then opportunities for inorganic growth in terms of mergers and acquisitions is also accessible or possible. It becomes more easier for the company to deal in these activities, and it also greatly helps in retaining high caliber employees who are loyal to the company and has helped the company growing in a long way. This is how the SME platform is helpful. They are definitely companies who have grown in the sector and they have made themselves to access a wider capital reach. This is how the SME platform has greatly helped. We have different type of tie-ups and other strategic arrangements for the SME platform to grow. We have taken a lot of initiatives as an team. So these are a few to mention over there. And if you have any queries, so you can definitely call back to us or Mr. Desai. He would also be able to help you out in this. So with this, we are located in 6 centers across the country. If anyone of you have any queries, you can definitely post to us. So with this, I'll conclude my presentation. Over to Mr. Desai and his team for the further presentations.
Thank you, Mr. Abhishek. A very nice presentation. And I will start my screen sharing. As in the interest of more question and answer, I will also restrict my speech to about 15-20 minutes. And I'll start why MSME should go for IPO with a hard and intelligent effort of 10 to 30 years. Entrepreneurs reaches a respectable turnover. As Abhishek ji said that turnover also is one of the criteria. Then he builds a team, he builds a brand, financials, etc. But he may face a different challenge. A succession planning may be a difficult thing because nowadays children of the many entrepreneurs would not like to join. So IPO can give a better alternative for succession planning. Contribution of business depends on possible succession by next generation. One of the possible way is to professionalize the company and unlock the value by IPO. Abhishek ji said that there is a price discovery mechanism. Here that can be done and taken into consideration because in 10, 30 years time, entrepreneur develops a lot of intangibles. Apart from the above succession planning, talent, as Abhishek ji said, talent acquisition also will become easier for faster growth. So what you can do is you can offer them ESOPs, which they will be filling a part of their growth, career growth. Then also this will be giving credibility and market access to improve many folds. See, once you are listed, your visibility increases. Also, acquisition of other business will become easier, like Abhishek ji said, merger and acquisition will become very attractive because when you want to acquire some company, you can leverage your balance sheet or your IPO capabilities or price for taking over that company by structured finance or many other ways which are possible. Next, please. See, the IPO planning is very critical. A successful IPO requires careful planning. A company must prepare for its management team and business units to begin acting and functioning as public company, both internally and externally. So this is very necessary because you should feel a preparations for this, and that will be inside as well as outside of the company, internally or externally. Focusing, this is very critical, focusing narrowly on accounting, due diligence and finance reporting matters surrounding preparations of the offer document is a wrong approach. A cross-functional holistic view to readiness is critical for preparing the organization to operate as a public company. What does it mean? That if you are just looking for raising some money, this is you maybe you'll have to have a long-term plan, and that way you have to prepare. Many MSME are always looking for a short-term gain, but IPO is a process. It's not a destination. It's a process. So accordingly, you have to prepare a long-term strategy. Planning, executing, and managing an IPO is a complex task for any organization. A better prepared company is the more efficient and less costly the process can be. Generally, cost of listing an IPO will be 6 to 12, 13% or 14%, depending on the size of money you raise. So, these costs can be reduced if you are well prepared. While the planning process of an IPO can start the day a company is incorporated. That is another necessity. You should be a private limited company when you want to start thinking. So partnership or proprietary company will have to convert into a private limited company or as late as months before public offering. We recommend that an orderly plan for executing be over a 1 or 2 year period. This window gives a private company time to build the capabilities to think. This is very critical to think, act, and perform as a public limited company, IPO prepared company. This is very necessary to change the attitude of all of your internal and external stakeholders. Next, please. The preparations is the key. Preparation process can often be lengthy depending on the maturity of the company's existing processes. It is vital that the company understand and address any gaps before going public. And the magnitude of required improvement will determine the number of resources required. So before going to IPO, many things, once you do these preparations, you will come to know the gaps and that you can fill that gap much before the IPO process. What areas should management evaluate as a part of an IPO readiness assessment? See, accounting and financial reporting is a necessary. Finance effectiveness, internal controls, tax planning according to capital structure, executive compensation and HR, governance and leadership, as Abhishek ji said, corporate governance, that is critical and that will give you a better this thing. Financial planning and analysis, legal, internal audit, engage with investment bankers, media and investor relationship, enterprise risk management, corporate strategy and development. These are the few of the key tools or key areas where you should make your readiness for IPO. Next, please. So coming back, one of the critical aspects is you should have a strong balance sheet. See, every MSME who is paying tax prepares the balance sheet, and they do not know whether their balance sheet is strong or not. So strong balance sheet will give a better value for your IPO shares. The strength of the company's balance sheet can be evaluated by three investment quality measurement. These are indicative. The cash conversion cycle shows how efficiently the company manages its account receivable and inventory. The fixed asset ratio measures how much revenue is generated from the use of a company's total asset. The return on assets ratio shows how well a company is using its asset to generate profit or net income. This is a starting point. Steps to create a stronger balance sheet. See, these are the few steps which I have earmarked here, but there may be many more. Identify what is most important. The balance sheet shows your company's financial conditions, its assets versus liabilities at a specific point in time. Sometimes some line items are more critical to your success than others. For example, inventory is a top priority for retailers, and accounts receivable is important to professional service firms. So these are indicative. According to whichever business you are there, you will have to make changes in your this thing. then analyze the ratios. Most of the MSME entrepreneurs are not aware that ratios are giving very uh, critical inputs for them to correct their business model or whatever it is. And for particularly when you are thinking to go for an IPO, this is very critical. The ratio compares line items of your on your company's financial statement. They may be grouped into major four categories: profitability, solvency, asset management, and leverage. While profitability ratio focused on income statement, the others assets can item are on the balance sheet. For example, the current ratio, current asset divided by current liability, is a solvency measure that helps assess whether your company has enough current asset to meet current obligation over the short run. Conversely, the day in receivable ratio, account receivable divided by annual sales into 365, is an asset management ratio that gauges how efficiently you are collecting your receivables. And the debt equity ratio focuses on company's use of your debt versus equity to finance growth. Many of my MSME friends are not aware this ratio is very critical, debt equity ratio. They just think if they borrow some money and bring it, their balance sheet becomes stronger. Please understand, it's a equity kind of instrument has to be brought. And IPO, by listing on IPO, you will get that kind of leverage to strengthen for merger and acquisition or talent acquisition or many other succession planning, because your own kith and kin may sit on the professional boards and they can continue your business after you are retiring or something goes wrong with you. So in that process, I am highlighting what we do as SME Analytics. In our desire to support startup and MSME units, we provide them with detailed financial ratio analysis and recommendation. The analysis is performed with the help of our proprietary do-it-yourself tool, Babaji, Business Analytics, Business Augmentation and Growth Information System, and is based on available data from business unit. We also provide mentorship and advisory services to startup and MSME unit. We work based on a premium model. We are developing a Z-score for MSME to manage insolvency risk and also to reduce rate of growth of NPA in banking sector. So this is a digital flyer. We are providing, these are the services we provided. Babaji tool, improve operational efficiency, data analytics, mentorship, digital transformation support, financial advisory, CFO service, fundraising, and IPO advisory services. You can contact us for all these kind of things. And now you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Next, please. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, we are giving our coordinates, social media coordinates in next slide. These are our social media coordinates. So thank you everybody for patiently listening. Now we are open to your question answer. Mr. Abhishek Gaur and myself will be available to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, honorable speakers, for the wonderful session. We would be going for the question answer session right now. Mr. Subhranshu Sakar sir has asked few questions. I'll start off with the first question. Like, he's asking how many SME IPOs happened in previous financial year? How many have listed on NSE platform?
Thanks, Mr. Sarkar, for that question. I can definitely mention how many IPOs have happened on NSE. So there were around 12 companies who have opened up the issue last financial year, even though because COVID period was there were 12 companies who have successfully completed their IPOs and have got listed on the Emers platform of NSE.
So the next question is, can the main board migration happen before 2 years? Is it automatic after 2 years? What's the process?
The migration to the main board, the prima facie criteria is the company needs to have a paid up capital of more than 10 crores on the completion of 2 years. Okay. After completion of 2 years, if the paid up capital is more than 10 crores, the company can consider themselves to migrate to the main board, subject to one more condition, that their market capitalization for the last 6 months need to be more than 25 crores. So if these two conditions satisfy, it is up to the company whether they wish to or wish not to migrate to the main board. Point number one. Point number two, as per the question which has been raised, companies can migrate to the main board before 2 years in the event of, if the paid up capital is breaching 25 crores for 2 years, but later than, I think, 1 year. So it's somewhere around 6 months to 1 year is the cooling period for them to be listed on the SME platform. And after that, if the paid up capital is breaching 25 crores, then the company can migrate to the main board early to 2 years also. Hopefully I have answered that question.
Thanks, Abhishek.
Okay, Sankarti, go ahead.
Am I audible? Okay.
Yeah.
So thanks, Abhishek, for the answer. What I basically wanted to understand is once SME list on NSE platform or any or a platform for an IPO, there's a cooling period, 6 months to 1 year, post which it can migrate to the main board provided the paid up capital is more than 25 crores. So is the process automatic or there are some regulatory mixed steps or some process steps to be followed? And second question is, even after listing, if they don't cross the paid up capital of 10 crores, can they remain in the NSE emerge for say 3 years, 4 years or 5 years? You followed
Thanks
my
for
question?
that. Thanks for that question. Yes, if at any given point of time, if the paid up capital of the company is breaching 25 crores, then they'll have to forcefully migrate to the main board. Why? Because this is basically having a background or backing of the SEBI regulation, which says that for a company being on an SME platform, the precondition is the paid up capital needs to be less than 25 crores. So in any case, if the paid up capital breaches 25 crores, after getting listed, the company has to migrate to the main board. Any company prior to the IPO is having a paid up capital of more than 25 crores is definitely not eligible to be listed on the SME platform. They'll have to look at a main board route for raising funds. First question is answered, I think. Second thing, you have one more thing, sir?
Yeah, that whether they can remain as long as they want in the emerge platform, provided they don't cross 10 crores.
Yes. In India, currently, as I told you, the platform started in 2012. We had our first company which got listed in 2012 itself. And fortunately, that company till today is there on the SME platform only. Though yes, their paid up capital is breached 10 crores, but they have currently maintained their status as an SME enterprise and they are continued to be listed on the Emerge platform. Okay. Apart from that, there are a lot of companies whose paid up capital has not breached 10 crores even after being listed for 4 years or 5 years. So that also shows that companies can still continue to be listed on the SME platform. Now, the only condition is if it is more than 25 crores, they'll have to surely migrate to the main board. Below 25 crores, the company has the prerogative whether to decide to migrate or not after 2 years.
Abhishek, can I ask you a question?
Please, sir, go ahead.
Sir, in present market, the valuation 10 rupees share at 150, 200, 300 rupees. So large number of reserves comes in the balance sheet. So if they capitalize by issuing the further, if they capitalize that reserves, they can reach the main board faster. But why that tendency is not there in MSME sector, listed companies to go to the main board? Does it mean that the difficulty is in compliances? SME platform compliances are less.
Sir, it is not that way. It definitely, as a outsider, you may have your viewpoint in that sense, and that is also encouraged. But the only condition is first the need of funds. Second, the urgency of the company thinking that they want to migrate to the main board or not. So if the company feels that currently they think that they would be able to migrate to the main board, or they have a flair of migrating to the main board, they may do it. Condition can be yes, where you may capitalize on your current network and go to the main board, because your paid up capital would definitely increase at that point of time. But it's up to the company. I don't see that there would be any hurdle or probably a bottleneck in terms of compliance, because as an SME enterprise already for 2 years, they have been complying with the regulation. The only thing is the magnitude would change. Your public disclosures are definitely not taken for granted, so they'll have to comply with that. Corporate governances has to be maintained. The only condition would be they'll have to announce a quarterly result, and on the SME platform, they have been announcing only a half-yearly result. Apart from that, on the costing side, yes, there might be some hiccups which an enterprise may or may not think on, because the moment you migrate to the main board, the conditions of publicizing your results and all these things come into force. Whereas on an SME platform, the moment you publish it on your website, subsequently submit it to the exchange to be put on the public domain, that is satisfying the condition of public disclosures. So these are a few conditions which a promoter may think. So in what sense somebody has migrated, somebody has not migrated is definitely a tough point to answer as an exchange. But these are a few things which I can just highlight or probably bring on the table on the discussion. That's
Abhishek, just one point on the paid up share capital. Does SEBI guideline allow rights or bonus issue out of reserves, or it has to be a fresh paid up share capital, fresh issue?
bonus, I think that should also qualify.
Sir, Hanumanlu sir wants to ask something. He's raising his hand.
Please go ahead, sir, and name whom do you want to ask your questions, sir, please.
Hanumanlu sir.
Sir. Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Good evening, sir. Many of the companies, MSME entrepreneurs are maybe 10 years old, 10, 15 years old, 20 years old, like that. They're having many assets value is more than that. Can they revalue the assets before going for IPO?
Sir, can you be a bit louder? I think there is some.
I'm audible now?
Yeah, a bit, sir. Yeah, please.
There are some companies which are having performance from the last 10 years, 50 years, 20 years. They're having assets, maybe land, building, like that. At that time, the value may be very less, book values. But now the market value is increased. Based on that market value, can they enhance the valuation and get the capital increase like that? So that will it be considered as a profit or eligible criteria for going for IPO?
Sir, your question is to whom, sir? If you can clarify.
See, it will be to you, Abhishek. He is a
Acha.
chartered accountant himself with a long experience and is in various committees of many things and is a good friend of us. So
Great,
the
great, sir.
question what he is trying to ask is, see, asset value has gone up, but it is not in the book. So can we convert that asset value in this and then think for public issue? Am I right, Hanumanthi sir?
Yes, yes, the same I want.
Yes.
Sir,
So suppose I am
as
sitting
an
on a land, parcel of a land.
I got your point. I got your point, sir. Let me just reply to that. Sir, it just generally valuation is the activity which a merchant banker does while drafting or coming to a valuation of the company. So in that sense, what type of things they are considering would be visible. As an exchange, the view, I think, would be only after the document is filed. At this juncture, I will not be able to specifically comment how revaluation of assets would be considered. But yes, if somebody is looking at that for having a better valuation, that can be done. Again, the listing compliances team may have some observations. If they are answered, then I think that can be looked at. This is just
Because
my
Sarkar
observation,
wants to take up
but as
something.
an exchange, I will not be able to certify whether a revaluation of asset would be considered or not.
Sarkar wants to say something.
Yeah. Abhishek, thanks for your answer. Hanumantu ji, good evening.
Good evening, good evening, sir.
From the valuation perspective, as far as I understand, assets, out of book assets cannot be taken into value, but intangible assets can be brought into books. Intangible assets can be brought into books. Revaluation of assets again is a phenomena, but that asset revaluation is for assets which are in books. But the assets which are outside books, they first need to be brought into books, and that's the reason I feel there has to be a planning stage for IPO readiness, where the balance sheet needs to be properly projected and properly tamed to reflect all the assets and liabilities of the business, such that a proper valuation can happen.
See, what
My doubt is, suppose a factory is having a land, that land value in the books is maybe 1 lakh when it was purchased. Now its value has gone up to 50 lakhs. Can you change add the value to the land value and increase the capital? Can you say that the capital criteria is fulfilled?
No. When the merchant banker does the valuation, they will not take the historical cost. They will have to do the valuation as on date.
That is good. What is the additional? What is the liability side increase? Will the capital will increase? It is not the paid up capital. Paid up capital is not increased. Asset value increase, but liability should increase. No, that liability.
Yes.
See, I will suggest both chartered accountants. I will suggest, as Abhishek said, that this is not in his part of the scope. So, Abhishek, can you help to make this process more easier? We can have one webinar with merchant banker with you, and more questions like this can be answered who are prominent in SME IPO. That probably Hanumantu sir or Sarkar sir can be more coming closer and clarify that doubt.
Yes.
What
We
is your
can
opinion?
definitely organize that, so we can arrange for that. That should not be an issue.
Thank you.
You can understand the dilemmas where you will not be able to answer. And these are all highly technical questions. So what happens? Suppose if a partnership company gets into conversion to private limited, how the assets can be transferred, what kind of reserves? These are technical accounting problems. Probably some merchant banker can help. What do you say, Sarkar sir?
No, definitely. The only point I want to add here is, generally when you look at valuations, and we have seen these technical IPOs of Zomato and Nykaa very recently. So the valuations are generally done on a DCF model, which is the discounted cash flow model. So in discounted cash flow, you take the forward premiums. So valuation is not basically on a balance sheet and capital. It's on a projected balance sheet. But what happens is your today's balance sheet definitely has a value unless and until you are so good a company, Zomato, that even with a loss, you can outweigh the market.
Let us see after 5 years what will be the future of investment. After 5 years, let us see
Yeah.
what will be the investor future.
Yes, absolutely. So the difference between, and already you know, Hanumantuji, that what Paytm IPO is happening.
Yes.
It has just reached subscription. So it's all in a, it's all in the, well, yeah.
That's a different question, not to this topic. 150, 2,000 rupees share value. How it is?
Yeah, that we can definitely discuss offline.
Yes, that what
It's
I
all,
mean, yes.
all
That is
in
nothing
a,
but that is nothing but investors cheated.
it's
No
all,
I
mutual
think
funds.
there are
it's
few
all
more
in
questions.
valuation game.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Please carry on.
There are few more questions.
I'll
Pinaki,
take
you
listen.
can ask
I'll
questions.
take listen.
Sure, sir.
I'll
Sure,
take
sir.
listen. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, question is there any way that all MSMEs can be made aware about how to go for IPO?
If somebody can
This is
attend
for whom?
sessions like this in great numbers, I think that would be more than enough for people to understand how the SME IPOs go. I think that would be the only answer. And if somebody is associated with any of the associations or groups, they can come up to us and request for some sessions. We'll be happy to oblige them.
Okay. Next question, anything?
Any initiatives taken by NSE to encourage IPOs in MSME sector?
Yeah, there are a lot of initiatives. One very unique or probably very profound is that we have engaged with a lot of state governments, and subsequently with this engagement, we have got their consent, wherein government is also in some states across India is subsidizing this IPO expenditure. Some way they are also trying to, in some states, they're also trying to be a part of the equity investment also. These are few unique and notable initiatives that the exchange has taken. Apart from that, first, the biggest, another one is, another biggest interaction is, initiative, sorry, is that we are ourselves coming forward and talking to investors to create, to remove all the myths associated with IPOs and how an entrepreneur, be it on a partnership level or a LLP or a public limited or a private limited entity status, if the business is there, whether they are eligible or not, how the roadmap would be, all these things is what we'll be able to discuss and clarify them at the ideation stage. Whether they want to go forward with that idea or not is again up to them, and when to go is also up to them. So these are a few notable initiatives which we have been taken, and we are moving across this length and breadth of the country. If anyone has any queries to understand it as a group or as an individual, they can reach out to us at our office addresses.
It's a good initiative. Which are the government we are putting in a big way? One or two names.
Sir, Jammu is there, Rajasthan is there, Maharashtra is there, Gujarat is there, West Bengal is there, Andhra Pradesh is there, and Tamil Nadu
Andhra
is
Pradesh
there.
is also giving, encouraging this.
Yes, sir.
Good. Any further question?
Yeah, yes, sir. So, Sarkar sir has asked SME take professional advisor support while preparing for IPO.
1 minute, Pinaki. Before that, I would like to ask Mr. Desai a question. Is internal planning and building process and controls necessary for a successful IPO? Ideally, when should IPO planning start?
As I suggested in my presentation 1 or 2 years earlier, but it solely depends how the entrepreneur is reading his own growth potential. It should start 1 or 2 years because MSME we have got as a partnership and proprietary. We are making a lot of PAPs in our this thing that PAPs are to be cleared. We are doing a lot of things. Our balance sheets are not clean. So that cleaning of the balance sheet, making it ready to look decent for a investor, scrutinized by merchant banker, all that requires 1 or 2 years. Not only paper cleaning, mental cleaning of the entrepreneur is also required because they think if I don't do this compliance, what will happen? See, once you go to IPO side of thinking, compliance, corporate governance, all that has to come in your blood, very, very much in your blood. It should become your DNA so that your growth of your business can be compounded many times further because you get a lot of visibility, a lot of good talent, good succession planning, good advisory board, or you can have your own board which can give you time to time strategic inputs. And this, as a proprietary or partnership company, you are not exposed to. So you have to be mentally fit to see that the IPO process starts well in advance and you get ready to understand and adjust your mindset. That is my opinion.
Sir,
I hope.
hello,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, Rangarao sir.
Yeah, I have one question, sir. One is there any criteria minimum turnover is required for IPO?
Abhishek ji, can you answer Rangarao ji?
Yeah, minimum number which we look at is 10 crores.
Okay. So
Ten crore
minimum 10
terms
turnover
of
you
crores.
mean to
top
say.
In terms of
10
top line.
crores are- Yeah, 10 crores turnover is required.
Yes.
And one more question,
Abhishek,
sir.
you have got
How the-
another platform, growth for growth stocks or some tech stocks. Would you like to speak for a minute or two?
On the SME emerge itself, for startups. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
On the emerge itself, for startups, tech startup, that is entities which are doing their business using technology. So technologically driven enterprises. If they are startups or if they have incorporated a startup, those companies profitability criteria is relaxed. But the turnover criteria remains the same. They have to breach their 10 crores in terms of top line. Profitability is not a criteria which they can look at. Even if the company is not making profit for 2 years, the precondition which I discussed in the presentation, that can be taken care of. But the only condition which is adding over there is the company needs to have 10% of the shareholding, which is pre-IPO, placed with any of the QIBs or any investor who is active in a recognized angel network. So these are few conditions for tech startups. So entities who are having say angel funding or angel funded entities, they can also look at this platform even if the profitability criteria of 2 years is not met. This is a new point which we have come up with in the recent past. So entities who are accessing that mostly is IT companies, biotechnology, nanotechnology, 3D printing, robotics kind of entities. Those I think would be the most eligible entities on that side, but we are yet to see the light of the day there.
Good.
Hopefully I've answered.
Good information. Pinaki, any further questions are there?
Yeah, so just two more questions. Who can guide SME in the process of going for IPO?
Abhishek, will you answer or shall I answer?
My presentation already says that at the ideation stage, if somebody wants to understand about the regulations, about how the environment flows, they can reach out to us. but I think you would definitely be a better person to
See,
answer that, sir.
SME analytics can handle you through the process systematically and may help you to reach that destination of this where before going to merchant bank, you are cleaning up, mentally preparing everybody.
So Nilesh, I think you're not audible.
That part. I'm not audible, seems. So SME analytics can help you in between processes at to bring it to clean your books, mentally prepared, give you training and other things, and explain